Ambassador Li Jinho adjusted his collar for the fifth time as he walked through the grand hallway of the Galactic Council. The ceiling rose high above him, decorated with glowing crystals that lit the path ahead. Two human guards walked beside him, their footsteps echoing against the marble-like floor. "It will be fine," Li whispered to himself. He had practiced his speech many times. Today was supposed to be a simple meeting, Earth's first official contact with the Galactic Council. The main chamber doors opened slowly. Inside, representatives from 30 different alien species sat in rising rows of seats, like a giant theater. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few even glowed. At the center of it all sat High Counselor Orcs, a tall being with silver skin and 4 arms. "Welcome, Ambassador Li of Earth," Orcs said in a deep voice that seemed to fill the whole room. "Please, take your place at the speaker's platform." Li walked to the small platform in the middle of the room. He could feel all the alien eyes watching him. Some looked curious, others seemed worried, and a few appeared angry. "Honorable members of the council," Li began, "I bring greetings from Earth. We are honored to." A loud explosion cut him off. The grand doors burst open, and figures in black armor rushed in. They carried weapons that glowed with purple energy. "The humans must not join," one of the attackers shouted. "They are too dangerous, too unpredictable." Li's guards moved quickly. One pushed him behind a pillar while the other fired back at the attackers. Council security forces appeared from side doors, their own weapons ready. "Protect the human ambassador," Orcs shouted, standing up. "This violence is forbidden in the council chamber." More explosions rocked the room. Some council members ran for safety while others tried to help fight the attackers. Through the chaos, Li saw one of the armed figures aiming directly at him. "Earth cannot be allowed to spread through the galaxy," the attacker said. "You evolve too fast. Adapt too quickly. You must be stopped now." Li's guard fired first, hitting the attacker in the shoulder. But more were coming. The air filled with energy beams and shouts in various alien languages. From his hiding spot, Li activated his emergency communicator. "Earth Command, this is Ambassador Li. We are under attack at the Council. I repeat, we are under attack. These are not Council forces. This is an extremist group." Through his earpiece, he heard the response. "Message received, Ambassador. Help is on the way. Stay alive." Staying alive might be difficult, Li muttered as another explosion shook the chamber. High Counselor Orcs had made his way to Li's position, using his 4 arms to deflect energy blasts with some kind of shield. "Ambassador, I deeply apologize for this attack. These extremists do not speak for the Council." "I understand," Li said, "but why do they fear us so much? We only want peaceful contact." "Because," Orcs said while blocking another blast, "your species has achieved in 300 years what took most of us thousands. Some fear your potential. They believe humans will grow too powerful, too quickly." A larger explosion rocked the entire chamber. Part of the ceiling began to crack. Li's remaining guard grabbed him and Orcs. "We need to move. Now." They ran through a side door as pieces of the ceiling crashed down behind them. The sounds of fighting followed them down the hallway. "Earth Command," Li spoke into his communicator as they ran. "Be advised. We are dealing with a faction that wants to stop Earth from joining the galactic community. They see us as a threat. All Earth forces should be put on high alert. I don't think this attack is happening only here." As if confirming his fears, Orcs received a message on his own device. His silver face turned darker with concern. "Ambassador," he said gravely, "multiple ships have just appeared near Earth's orbit. They bear the same markings as our attackers." Li's heart sank. This wasn't just an attack on him. It was the beginning of something much bigger. The first contact between Earth and the Galactic Council had gone very wrong. Now, humanity would have to prove itself much sooner than anyone had expected. Captain Kim Hannah stood at the command center of Earth Defense Station 1, her eyes fixed on the large display screen. Red dots were appearing everywhere, enemy ships coming out of faster-than-light travel near Earth's orbit. "Status report," she ordered, keeping her voice steady despite the growing tension. Her executive officer, Park Ji-won, responded quickly. 37 enemy vessels detected so far, Captain. Their weapons are charging. They're taking attack positions around our defense satellites. Kim took a deep breath. Just minutes ago, they had received Ambassador Lee's warning about the attack at the Galactic Council. Now the enemy was here, proving his fears correct. "Send emergency alerts to all Earth Defense Force ships," she commanded. "Get every available vessel into defensive positions, and someone get me a direct line to Admiral Song." The command center buzzed with activity. Officers ran between stations, sending orders and coordinating responses. Warning sirens began to sound throughout the station. "Captain," Park called out. "Incoming transmission from the enemy fleet." Kim nodded. "Put it on screen." The main display changed to show an alien with dark purple scales and yellow eyes. When it spoke, its voice was translated into English by the communication system. "Attention Earth forces. I am Commander Vex of the Purity Coalition. Your species has been deemed too dangerous to join the galactic community. Surrender now, and we will allow your planet to exist under our supervision. Resist, and we will be forced to take more direct action." Kim stepped forward, her face showing no fear. "This is Captain Kim Hauna of the Earth Defense Force. Your attack on our ambassador and this threatening display violate galactic law. We demand you withdraw immediately." The alien commander made a sound like harsh laughter. "You are in no position to make demands, Captain. You have 10 minutes to surrender. After that, we begin our attack." The transmission ended. Kim turned to her crew, who were all watching her, waiting for orders. "Park, what's the status of our defense network?" "All orbital platforms are combat-ready," Park replied. "Earth Defense Force ships are moving into position. But, Captain, they outnumber us 3-1, and their technology is more advanced." Kim walked to the tactical display, studying the enemy positions. "Numbers and technology aren't everything. Humanity didn't come this far by giving up when things looked difficult." She pressed a button on her command console. "This is Captain Kim to all Earth Defense Force units. The enemy expects us to surrender. They think we'll back down because they have better ships and bigger guns, but they don't understand humanity." She paused, looking at the determined faces of her crew. "We are the descendants of people who crossed oceans in wooden boats, who survived ice ages with stone tools, who looked at the stars and decided to reach them. We did not come this far to surrender to the first aliens who threaten us." Park checked his display again. "Enemy ships are moving, Captain. They're targeting our defense satellites. Launch our fighters," Kim ordered. "Tell all ships to hold position until my mark. And get me Admiral Song. We need to coordinate our response." Just then, another alert sounded. Park's eyes widened as he read the data. "Captain, 3 more enemy ships just appeared, but they're attacking the first group." Kim rushed to his station. On the screen, she could see new ships firing on the Purity Coalition vessels. A message came through. "Earth Defense Force. This is Council Peacekeeper Squadron 7. We tracked the extremists here. We offer our assistance in defending your world." A small smile appeared on Kim's face. "It seems not everyone in the galaxy wants us dead. Park, coordinate with the peacekeepers. All units prepare for combat. Let's show these attackers exactly how stubborn humanity can be." The enemy's 10-minute deadline wasn't up yet, but the battle for Earth was about to begin. In orbit above the blue planet, human ingenuity and determination were about to be tested against advanced alien technology. Admiral Song Min-ho watched from the bridge of his flagship as another defense satellite exploded. The enemy's first strike had been devastating. More than half of Earth's orbital defense network was gone. "Status report," he called out, his voice firm despite the chaos around him. "Sir, We've lost 60% of our defense satellites, an officer responded. The enemy is targeting our remaining platforms. Our ships are engaged but heavily outnumbered. Song stood at the main viewport, studying the battle. The enemy ships were more advanced, but they fought in a very orderly way. They followed strict patterns. This gave him an idea. Contact all civilian space stations, he ordered. I want every space-worthy vessel ready to launch, and get me Captain Kim. Kim's face appeared on his screen moments later. Her command center looked busy with activity. Admiral, we're holding our position, but barely, she reported. Captain, I have a plan, Song said, but it's not in any military manual. How do you feel about breaking some rules? Kim smiled slightly. Sir, I think today is a good day to try new things. Song nodded. Good. Here's what we're going to do. 20 minutes later, hundreds of civilian ships launched from Earth. Mining vessels, cargo ships, and even space tourist shuttles joined the fight. The enemy was confused by this strange move. Look at their formation, Song told his officers. They expect military ships. They expect proper tactics. So let's give them something they don't expect. He turned to his communications officer. Tell all civilian ships to execute Operation Firefly. The civilian ships began to move in random patterns. They weaved between enemy vessels, breaking up their formations. Mining lasers, meant for cutting asteroids, now cut into enemy shields. Cargo ships released clouds of metal debris, confusing enemy sensors. The Purity Coalition ships are breaking formation, Kim reported. Their coordinated attack is falling apart. Song watched as his plan worked. The enemy fleet had trained to fight military vessels. They didn't know how to handle hundreds of civilian ships flying in unpredictable ways. Now, Song ordered, all military vessels attack their command ships. They can't coordinate if they can't communicate. Earth's warships struck hard. 3 enemy command ships exploded in quick succession. Without central control, the alien fleet's perfect formation turned to chaos. The Council peacekeepers joined the attack, adding their firepower to Earth's forces. Their commander sent a message to Song. Admiral, we've never seen tactics like this. Using civilian ships as military assets. It's unconventional but effective. Humans are good at being unconventional, Song replied. Sometimes the best solution isn't the obvious one. The battle continued for hours. Earth lost more ships and stations, but they made the enemy pay for every loss. The civilian ships proved surprisingly hard to hit. Their irregular movements confused the alien targeting systems. Admiral, Kim called. The enemy fleet is pulling back. They're retreating. Song watched as the remaining Purity Coalition ships turned away from Earth. They disappeared into faster-than-light travel one by one. Damage report, he ordered. We lost many defense platforms, sir, his officer reported, but civilian casualties were minimal. The enemy clearly didn't expect the civilian ships to fight back. Song nodded slowly. Send word to all ships. Well done, everyone. But this was just the first battle. They'll be back, and next time they'll be ready for our tricks. Sir, Kim added, we've received messages from several alien worlds. They're impressed by our defense. Some are offering to help us prepare for the next attack. Good, Song replied. We'll need all the help we can get, but we've proven something important today. Humanity won't go down easily, no matter what they throw at us. The first major battle for Earth was over. Humanity had survived against impossible odds, using creativity and unconventional tactics. But this was just the beginning of a much larger war. Deep beneath the Korean peninsula, Dr. Yoon Ha-won stared at the alien device on her laboratory table. The captured technology had arrived yesterday, smuggled in by resistance fighters. Its purple crystal core pulsed with strange energy. Another test ready, she announced to her team. Everyone behind the safety shield. The underground facility hummed with activity. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, trying to understand the alien technology. Their laboratory was hidden inside an old mining complex, safe from enemy sensors. Dr. Yoon activated her scanning equipment. Data flowed across her screens as the device powered up. Suddenly, her eyes widened. "Look at this energy pattern," she said, pointing to the display. "It's not random. The crystals are communicating with each other." Her assistant leaned closer to the screen. "Like a network." "Exactly," Dr. Yoon replied. "All their ships must be connected through these crystals. That's how they coordinate so perfectly." Above them, the ground shook. Another alien bombing run. They barely noticed anymore. It had become normal over the past week. The laboratory's main door opened. Choi Ta-sun walked in, his uniform dusty from the surface. As the head of resistance operations, he coordinated their fight against the alien ground forces. "Dr. Yoon," he called out, "we need good news. The aliens are pushing harder every day." She turned to face him. "Actually, I might have something. These crystals they use, they're all connected. If we can disrupt that connection, we could break their coordination," Choi finished. "Like what happened in the space battle with the civilian ships." Dr. Yoon nodded. "Exactly. But better. We might be able to shut down their weapons completely." Another explosion rocked the facility. Dust fell from the ceiling, but the reinforced walls held firm. "How long until you can make it work?" Choi asked. "A few days, maybe less," she replied. "But we'll need to test it. That means capturing more alien technology." Choi smiled slightly. "That's my job. My teams are getting good at ambushing their patrols." He walked to a large map on the wall. Red marks showed alien control areas, while blue showed human-resistant strongholds. "They control most major cities," he explained, "but they can't be everywhere. We hit them fast, take what we need, and disappear into the tunnels." Dr. Yoon joined him at the map. "The alien commanders don't understand human determination. They expect us to surrender because they have better weapons." "They don't know much about Korean history then," Choi said. "Our ancestors fought off invasions for thousands of years. We're good at being stubborn." A young resistance fighter rushed into the lab. "Sir, our scouts report 3 alien vehicles moving toward the old factory district. They're carrying some kind of new weapon." Choi checked his equipment. Perfect timing. Dr. Yoon needs more alien tech to study. He activated his radio. "All resistance teams, prepare for ambush at Point 7. Standard capture operation." "Be careful," Dr. Yoon said. "We need that technology intact." "Always am," Choi replied with a grin. "Keep working on that crystal network. The sooner we can shut down their weapons, the better." As Choi left with his teams, Dr. Yoon returned to her work. The alien device pulsed on her table, its secrets slowly being revealed. Above ground, the war raged on. But here in the depths, humanity's scientists worked tirelessly to turn the enemy's technology against them. The resistance was growing stronger every day, learning and adapting. The aliens would soon discover that humans were at their most dangerous when backed into a corner. Deep beneath the Korean peninsula, Dr. Yoon Ha-won stared at the alien device on her laboratory table. The captured technology had arrived yesterday, smuggled in by resistance fighters. Its purple crystal core pulsed with strange energy. "Another test ready," she announced to her team. "Everyone behind the safety shield." The underground facility hummed with activity. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, trying to understand the alien technology. Their laboratory was hidden inside an old mining complex, safe from enemy sensors. Dr. Yoon activated her scanning equipment. Data flowed across her screens as the device powered up. Suddenly, her eyes widened. "Look at this energy pattern," she said, pointing to the display. "It's not random. The crystals are communicating with each other." Her assistant leaned closer to the screen. "Like a network." "Exactly," Dr. Yoon replied. "All their ships must be connected through these crystals. That's how they coordinate so perfectly." Above them, the ground shook. Another alien bombing run. They barely noticed anymore. It had become normal over the past week. The laboratory's main door opened. Choi Ta-sun walked in, his uniform dusty from the surface. As the head of resistance operations, he coordinated their fight against the alien ground forces. "Dr. Yoon," he called out, "we need good news. The aliens are pushing harder every day." She turned to face him. "Actually, I might have something. These crystals they use, they're all connected. If we can disrupt that connection, we could break their coordination," Choi finished. "Like what happened in the space battle with the civilian ships." Dr. Yoon nodded. "Exactly. But better. We might be able to shut down their weapons completely." Another explosion rocked the facility. Dust fell from the ceiling, but the reinforced walls held firm. "How long until you can make it work?" Choi asked. "A few days, maybe less," she replied. "But we'll need to test it. That means capturing more alien technology." Choi smiled slightly. "That's my job. My teams are getting good at ambushing their patrols." He walked to a large map on the wall. Red marks showed alien-controlled areas, while blue showed human-resistant strongholds. "They control most major cities," he explained, "but they can't be everywhere. We hit them fast, take what we need, and disappear into the tunnels." Dr. Yoon joined him at the map. "The alien commanders don't understand human determination. They expect us to surrender because they have better weapons." "They don't know much about Korean history then," Choi said. "Our ancestors fought off invasions for thousands of years. We're good at being stubborn." A young resistance fighter rushed into the lab. "Sir, our scouts report 3 alien vehicles moving toward the old factory district. They're carrying some kind of new weapon." Choi checked his equipment. Perfect timing. Dr. Yoon needs more alien tech to study. He activated his radio. "All resistance teams, prepare for ambush at Point 7. Standard capture operation." "Be careful," Dr. Yoon said. "We need that technology intact." "Always am," Choi replied with a grin. "Keep working on that crystal network. The sooner we can shut down their weapons, the better." As Choi left with his teams, Dr. Yoon returned to her work. The alien device pulsed on her table, its secrets slowly being revealed. Above ground, the war raged on. But here in the depths, humanity's scientists worked tirelessly to turn the enemy's technology against them. The resistance was growing stronger every day, learning and adapting. The aliens would soon discover that humans were at their most dangerous when backed into a corner. Ambassador Lee Jin-ho walked through the damaged council chamber with High Counselor Arxis. The room still showed signs of the attack that had started this war. Broken pillars and scarred walls remained as reminders of that day. "The council is meeting again today," Arxis said, his 4 arms moving as he spoke. "Many members want to discuss the Purity Coalition's actions." Lee nodded. He had spent weeks gathering evidence of the Coalition's illegal activities. They broke many laws when they attacked Earth. "Indeed," Arxis agreed. "And your people's response has been unexpected. The Coalition thought humanity would fall quickly. Instead, you have turned their own technology against them." They entered a smaller meeting room where representatives from various species waited. Lee recognized some as friends who had helped him escape during the first attack. "Ambassador Lee," one of them said, rising from her seat. She was from a species that looked like tall, blue-skinned humans. "We have reviewed your evidence. The Coalition's attack was not authorized by the Council. They acted alone," another representative added. His crystalline body sparkled as he spoke. "They had no right to judge humanity's place in the galaxy." Lee took his seat at the table. "My people do not want revenge. We want peace. But we also want justice." Arxis activated a large screen showing reports from Earth. Images of the recent battles appeared, including the success of Operation Blackout. "Your species has shown remarkable abilities," Arxis said. "You took our technology and improved it in ways we never considered. Some council members are impressed. Others are worried." "We understand their concern," Lee replied. "But humanity has always been this way. We adapt. We learn. We survive. It's who we are. The blue-skinned representative spoke again. The coalition feared your potential, but they were wrong to attack you for it. Many worlds now see humanity as a potential ally, not a threat. Just then, an aide rushed into the room. High Counselor, news from the coalition fleet. The humans have captured their main communication hub. The room filled with excited voices. The coalition's network had been their greatest advantage in controlling galactic trade and communication. How? Someone asked. Their technology was supposed to be unbeatable. Lee smiled slightly. We had good scientists and brave soldiers. But most importantly, we had something the coalition didn't expect: creativity. Orcs raised all four hands for silence. This changes everything. Without their network, the coalition's power is broken. Many worlds under their control will seek independence. Earth offers its help, Lee said. We can teach others how to defend against the coalition's weapons. We can share what we've learned. The crystalline representative glowed brighter. You offer help to the very galaxy that allowed you to be attacked. Yes, Lee answered simply, because that's also who we are. We fight when we must, but we prefer to make friends. Orcs nodded slowly. I will call an emergency session of the full council. It's time to officially recognize humanity's right to exist in the galactic community, and perhaps to offer Earth a permanent seat on the council itself. As the representatives discussed the details, Lee sent a message to Earth. The diplomatic victory was just as important as the military one. Humanity had proven itself not just through strength, but through wisdom. Admiral Song Minho stood in the command center of Operation Phoenix, Earth's largest military operation ever. Holographic displays showed hundreds of ships moving into position, both human vessels and allied alien craft that had joined their cause. All fleet groups report ready, Park J1 announced. He had been promoted after the success of Operation Blackout and now served as Song's tactical officer. The coalition forces are scattered without their network, Song observed, studying the tactical display. They can't coordinate their defenses like before. Dr. Yoon's face appeared on a screen. She spoke from her new research facility, where she continued to improve Earth's technological capabilities. Admiral, all ships are equipped with our modified crystal systems. The enemy cannot reconnect to their network as long as our disruption field remains active. Song nodded. Then it's time. Begin Operation Phoenix. The human fleet moved forward, split into smaller groups. Each group had its own mission, its own targets. Unlike the coalition's rigid battle plans, humanity's attack was flexible and unpredictable. First reports coming in, Park said. Coalition forces on Mars are surrendering. They know they can't win without their network support. Song watched as green lights appeared across the tactical display, showing successful operations. The coalition had built their entire military around perfect coordination. Without it, their ships and crews seemed lost. Message from Captain Kim on the Indomitable, Park reported. Her battle group has secured the Jupiter defense stations. The coalition crews are requesting asylum. Granted, Song ordered. Show them we can be merciful in victory. The operation continued for hours. Coalition forces either surrendered or retreated. Some tried to fight, but their traditional tactics were no match for humanity's adaptable strategy. Sir, Park called out, we're detecting a large coalition fleet near Saturn. They're forming a defensive line. Song studied their formation. They're learning. They're trying to fight without their network. He pressed a communication button. All ships, this is Admiral Song. The enemy ahead of us is showing courage. They deserve our respect. Offer them one chance to surrender honorably. The coalition commander's response came quickly. This is Commander Vex. We underestimated humanity. We thought your unpredictability was weakness. We were wrong. We surrender. Song smiled slightly. Finally, the coalition was beginning to understand. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their weapons or technology. It was their ability to think differently, to adapt, to find new solutions to old problems. Admiral, Dr. Yoon's voice came through again. The Coalition's main fortress on Titan is powering up weapons. They're not surrendering. Then we'll show them one last time why that's a mistake, Song replied. He opened a channel to all ships. This is Admiral Song. The fortress on Titan stands as the last major coalition stronghold in our solar system. Let's end this war. The human fleet moved with precision and purpose. Fighters launched, capital ships took position, and allied vessels provided support. This wasn't the chaos of their first battles. This was humanity showing that they could master any form of warfare, even the coordinated attacks the coalition preferred. Sir, Park said proudly, all ships report ready. Operation Phoenix's final phase is about to begin. Admiral Song looked at his tactical display one last time. Humanity had come so far from those first desperate battles. They had learned, adapted, and grown stronger. Now it was time to prove that they could not only survive but win decisively. All ships, he commanded, commence final attack.